Jason Evans, the young freshman right-hander on the mound, got a strikeout of Charles Davallon to start things off, but the ball got away from catcher Luis Hernandez, so Davallon stands at first. And then just got the strikeout of Vahiva Aloy for out number 1, and the 3-hole hitter Carson Bowles steps to the plate now, and he's even 1-1 at the plate.
Jason Evans, born in Houston, Texas, attended St. Pius High School, played under his father, who is still the baseball coach there. And of course, his dad, Michael, played minor league ball in the Kansas City Royals organization.
Bowles fouls that one back. Bowles hitting .321 on the season. Redshirt, or excuse me, the senior transfer. Came in from Lincoln Memorial, Division II team. First year at Arkansas after 3 years at Lincoln Memorial. There's a chopper to third. Braswell's going to go to second. Can they turn it? Quick snap throw, safe at first. Bowles just did beat it.
LSU is challenging the safe call first.
This was a really nice turn by LSU. Braswell, former shortstop. Milam, obviously at the shortstop position, and Daniel Dickinson, a former shortstop too. Outer safe. You make the call at home.
Got him.
Ooh.
Or did he?
Is there enough there, though?
Yes.
Is there enough, Dave, to overturn? What do you think?
I think
the glove is closed right there.
After review, the runner is out. LSU has 2 challenges remaining.
What a double play to get LSU off the field. Jake with his 2 home runs. Ethan Fry's leading the team in batting average. Lineup is shaping up to be something pretty special.
Well, that lineup is going to face the left-hander, Landon Battleshees. And he is making his 12th start of the year, his 13th appearance. Pretty much been in the weekend rotation all year long for Arkansas. It's a little bit different. You'll watch the arm swing, the arm slot. It's a little bit different. It kind of takes it out and short arms the ball towards home plate. But he's a big kid. And you see the numbers on the years. Undefeated, pretty solid ERA, but he can strike you out. 50 strikeouts, only 16 walks for the left-hander.
Well, there's out number 1. That didn't take very long.
He gets that slider going. It's mostly about the slider. The fastball is a solid one for Battleshees. I mean, it'll tick up to 94, 95, but the slider is by far his best pitch.
A 2-hole hitter, Bear Jones, stepping in. Bear Jones on the year, hitting .345, 16 homers, 61 runs batted in. Bear, though, just 2 for 8 this series with 5 strikeouts. Good looking fastball, 93 miles an hour. Inside half of the plate. Bear Jones going to take a little time here. This LSU team, second in the conference in batting average. We've got the top 2 teams in the league in terms of hitting on display this weekend. That's out to short. Boy, kind of an awkward hop, but Aloy stays with it. That'll be out number 2. Well, LSU and Arkansas, identical records across the board. Both of them are 40-11 with 17-9 conference records. There's Georgia and Auburn sitting there with 16 wins. Looking at that, who's going to be the double bye team? The top 4 get the double bye in the SEC tournament. But then, boy, there's just, you can take teams 4 through, really go down to 10.
But did you think it was going to be anything other than what it is really when the season started? You bring Texas and Oklahoma into the best conference in the country and you only make it better. And this is kind of what we thought. It would probably come down to the final series before a lot of the questions would be answered. And that's what it looks like it's going to be.
Texas 1 win away from clinching at least a share of the title as Daniel Dickinson, the junior, hops in there. The 3-hole hitter. Check swing. Did he go? No swing.
Yeah,
1-2 to count.
It's been an amazing run for Texas, and we talked about this yesterday. I mean, preseason they were picked to finish 9th out of 16 teams in the SEC, and they have been sitting in that #1 spot the entire year.
That's out to left center. It's going to drop in, bounce off the side, and a stand-up double for Daniel Dickinson, his 13th of the year.
Well, Jay Johnson went and hit the portal with this kid right here out of Utah Valley State, who put up monster numbers. You see he's wearing number 14. And the reason he's wearing number 14 is Jay Johnson says, you know who you remind me of? You remind me of Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose. He said, I'm going to give you number 14. And he has worn it, and he's had an outstanding first year, and probably be his last year at LSU. Going to be drafted this year as a junior.
Here's Ethan Fry, the designated hitter, leading this team with a .368 average. 4 for 7 this series with a couple of home runs, 6 runs batted in. He looks at a nice fastball at 94 in there for a strike, 1-1. And Fry's just a great story. A guy that was just couldn't really find a spot, kind of spot at bats early in the year, and just kept producing and just worked his way in the lineup. And now they can't take him out.
Right, because he's hitting lefties and right-handers and hitting right in the middle part of this lineup.
And a stolen base there as Daniel Dickinson swipes his 7th of the year.
Boy, with 2 outs, you better make sure if you're in scoring position, you can get to third base. And there wasn't even a throw. Daniel Dickinson timed up Battle Sheets perfectly and easily took an extra 90.
Doesn't matter. Called strike 3 at the plate. Fry goes down looking, and the inning is over. LSU will leave a runner at third. He's busted onto the scene this year. Transfer from BYU, and of course the brother of Vahiva Aloy. 356, 13 homers, and how about 66 runs batted in?
That leads the SEC, doesn't it?
Yes,
or it was leading the SEC yesterday. Yeah, that's how good he has been. I love his eyes, man. He's got that kind of that chin flap on there that hides his face, and boy, you look at him from the mound and all you see is those eyes squinting. He is locked in.
There's John. Yeah, getting hugs about it. See, he's got his headset with him. He's still not done. He may be retiring, but he's not today. They surprised him, by the way. Brought his family in, and he didn't know any of this was going on.
They tricked him.
They did.
How many years is he going to pack that headset around with him before he realizes he's retired? It'll be a part of it.
It looks like it's going to be a while. Are they actually going to let him go sit down and watch some baseball? 3,000 LSU athletic events.
How about that, huh?
Swing and a miss to Ryder Helfrich. Sophomore out of California. 8 homers and 22 runs batted in for Ryder. Oh, 0-2.
That's what makes Evans so hard to hit, because he throws 95, 96. So you got to get your foot down and you got to get going. And when he takes a little bit off of that changeup or the slider, it is a tough combination to deal with.
Well, that ball smoked. The 0-2 pitch. Going to get to the wall. Let's see what they do here with Cahillo. They will stop him at third, so second and third now. And Arkansas in business. Boy, just got that 0-2 pitch just out over the plate.
Yeah, nowhere close to where Evans was trying to throw it. I mean, look where Hernandez is. He's off the outside edge. This ball just kind of up and in, just a nothing kind of slider, just sat there and spun. And I tell you what, Helfrich quickly turned it around. And something working for the Hogs here in the top of the second inning. They got second and third and nobody out.
Cam Kozel now steps in, the second baseman. Cam having a good offensive year at .339. First pitch he sees, a little off speed, swings and misses.
Yeah, this Arkansas team can flat out hit. Over 9 runs per game. That's #1 in the SEC, top 10 in the entire country. And they do it by batting average, as you mentioned, #1, but they get home runs too. 5th most home runs in all of baseball as well.
104 home runs on the year for Arkansas, led by the 17 from Vahiva Aloy. But they have struggled, Ben. You've harped on it. 5 for 23 with runners on base this series. So there's 2 of them on right now for this guy, Cam Kojal. And that's gloved by Bear Jones at first. That'll be out number 1.
Yeah, those are those moments. You get a runner at third base and less than 2 out. You don't even need a base hit to score somebody. You want one, right? That's icing on the cake. But LSU had the middle infielders playing back, which means just a routine ground ball to anybody in the middle infield, and it plates the first run. Ball hit pretty hard. Unfortunately, a line drive right to Jarrett Jones. Goes to the backhand side and collects it.
Nate Yeskie out to the mound quickly. Brett Iredale steps to the plate.
I wrote this number down this morning. The SEC average for a runner at third base, less than 2 out, and getting him home either by a base hit, a sac fly, a ground, whatever. 63% of the time, that's the SEC average with all the teams. Arkansas 73% of the time. They're number 1 in the SEC in that department of getting. So their situational hitting, runners in scoring position, runner at third, has been really good this year, but not so much in this series.
We harped a little bit about it last year. What a difference the season from last year to this year has been.
Yeah. I mean, offensively, they were pretty average last year. I mean, you go back and look, 12th out of 14 teams runs per game. This year, they're obviously first. Taking a step further last year, only 5.2 runs per game in SEC play. This year, right at 9 runs per game.
It is a potent lineup for sure. And Kason Evans in a bind right now with runners at second and third and 1 down. Iredale 19 RBI on 22 opportunities with runners on third and less than 2 out. So he's been able to get the job done most opportunities.
Yeah, if you're Arkansas right here, like this feels like a must score. You got to get at least 1 in this inning. When you have second, third, nobody out, you got to get at least 1. Iredale
looks at ball 1. 292 hitter with 12 homers and 53 runs batted in. First native-born Australian to play baseball at Arkansas in school history. That's a strike.
If you missed it earlier, Kason Evans began the year for LSU in the bullpen, and he was the closer. Picked up 6 saves really, really quick. But the last 2 weekends, he's been in the starting role. Chase Shores had been the Sunday guy for LSU pretty much all year long, and he's had a little bit of a struggle lately, so he was taken out of the weekend rotation. Evans was put in.
Check swing. Did he go? No, says our first base umpire, Eric Gaucher. And he's hearing it from the dugout right now. Again, I think if you're on the mound, that's clearly a strike, right?
If I'm on the bump, I'm upset. I want that one. That's one of those 50-50 calls. You know, he's not wrong or right either way. Could have been called. Arkansas would have barked. Wasn't called, so Jay Johnson, LSU's barking.
Eric Gaucher staring down that LSU dugout. He's trying to pinpoint where some of that chirping was.
Yeah, Jay's like, hey, put your eyes on the field. Don't stare into the dugout. The game's not in the dugout. The game's on the field.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. That'll be out number 2.
That right there, folks, is the bread and butter for Kason Evans. You call it what you want to call it. I call it the air bender because he's got one of the best changeups there is. It just kind of just dive bombs.
At the plate for the Razorbacks, first baseman number 1.
And he'll throw it just like that in just about any count. 3-2, 2-0, 2-1, it doesn't matter.
And now Rocco Pepe steps in. Kason Evans is 8 for 8 first pitch strikes.
That is a recipe for success.
Pepe, the senior, Another California kid. Behind 0-2. Hope he did not play yesterday, but getting some work today, obviously. This is his 16th start, his 15th at first base. Shoots that one foul. Transfer from Fresno State. Hit .327 last year for the Bulldogs of Fresno State. 14 homers. Fastball up in the zone. 1-2 the count.
Yeah, Pepe hasn't got a lot of playing time this year. Only 44 at bats total going into the game today. Only 18 SEC at bats.
There's a chopper. Braswell fields, throws, and
over 400 against right-handers. But LSU is a better defending team when he's in the lineup. He's the fastest guy LSU has. He has a big arm in the outfield as well. And he's a difference maker when he gets on the bases because he can take an extra 90 on you. Leads LSU in stolen bases with 8.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss. So Jake Brown heading back to the dugout.
Yeah, that's not a good combination lefty on lefty with Battle Sheets because we talked about his best pitch is this pitch right here, a slider. He starts it in the zone and just works it right off the outside edge.
Luis Hernandez, the senior, got the day off yesterday behind the plate. Aaron Beatty started. Had a big home run for LSU. But Hernandez back on the field today.
Yeah, Hernandez last year at Indiana State, 23 home runs, hit over 350. Not quite the same in his first year on campus at LSU.
Battle Sheets got a sneaky good fastball now.
Yeah, and I love where he's throwing it, Dave. He's working the inside part of the plate with that fastball. He wants to speed those bats up to get to that changeup and that slider of his. So it's kind of been fastballs in and slow stuff away.
That ball's hit high in the air, deep to left field. It is gone. Home run. Luis Hernandez, his 7th of the year.
Well, Battle Sheets right there tried that slider, which is his best pitch, and wanted to get it down and in and underneath the bat, but it never got there. Talk about old time for Luis Hernandez. Watch him get his hands in tight to his body right there. See how he just kind of brought those hands in really tight, that ball working inside to get the barrel to it, and pushes this one well out straight away left field.
Now batting, third baseman, Michael Braswell III.
One nothing LSU out in front. 81st home run of the year for LSU. Power numbers down for this group, despite the fact that their batting average is second best in the league and producing runs. But I usually think LSU is a team that's in the hunt, top 2 or 3 in the league in home runs. But this year, down a little bit.
Yeah, I think most people knew it going in. There wasn't going to be a typical LSU home run barrage. I mean, LSU's averaged right at 130 homers each of the last 2 seasons going into this year. It's a little bit different team towards the top of the SEC in doubles. I think they're second in doubles. Their on base percentage is really good. They don't strike out a whole lot. So they kind of do it a little bit different way.
Thomas charges in, makes the catch. Well, Ben, you sat through Friday night, a 3.5-hour rain delay. Started first pitch at 9:57.
We like to give you a little bit of everything around here, around Baton Rouge. Gonna give you a little rain, a little 3.5-hour delay. Finish at 1:17 in the morning on Friday. Yesterday was nice. It was a little bit cooler, wind blowing out of the north. But if you'll notice today, that wind has kind of switched around and got out of the south, typically blowing out toward left center field, which is what you normally see here at the box here in Baton Rouge this time of the year. But it is an absolute gorgeous day in Baton Rouge.
At 13,000 on hand last night. It's for Stephen Milam to step in. Las Cruces, New Mexico. Steven has struggled this series, 1 for 8. His average has dipped down to 279. He looks at a strike, 1-1. By the way, I went walking along the river.
She swole up, isn't she?
And that thing is moving, but you don't want to get in there. I didn't stick my toe in there, but I also walked underneath the new bridge over there you're talking about.
Yeah, I got corrected on that a few times on Twitter yesterday. I called it, and it is, we still call it the new bridge.
This ball's driven deep to left. It's not to the new bridge, but it is out of the ballpark. Number 10 for Stephen Milam.
You knew the monster had to get in on the action. Monster Milam, all 5'6" of him. Double digits in home runs for him now. That's his 10th long ball of the year, his 42nd RBI. And LSU up 2-0 in this one.
Tell you what, he hung on to that bat for a while.
Yeah.
That didn't get over the fence by much now.
I think he might have heard you, Dave, talking about 0 for 8 in this series. He's like, I'm going to show him.
I said 1 for 8.
Okay.
Now he's 2 for 9.
2 for 9. That's not bad. If there is one knock on Battle Sheets, though, I wrote this down. He'd given up 11 home runs coming into this game in 50 and a third. That's a pretty loud number. So 13 now on the year.
But a couple of solo shots, not going to kill you. But it just goes back to the last half inning when Arkansas had an opportunity to get at least one, if not more, on the board with 2 on at second and third and nobody out.
Yep, and we felt like one of the keys for Arkansas was going to be able to score first. They had a grand opportunity and couldn't get it done.
Safe at first on a high throw from Iredale.
And that's another thing about Arkansas. They were a little bit sloppy on defense last night. Dave Van Horn upset about that just because it is the #1 fielding team in the SEC. Arkansas really good typically on defense. Not an easy play, but a pretty average play, but the throw is just a little bit towards home plate.
The 29th error of the season, the fewest in the SEC this year. But when your team's trying to dig themselves out of a hole, can't afford those.
Yep. You give teams in the SEC extra opportunities on plays that should be made, and a lot of times you end up paying for it.
And you get Gurriel up to the plate, and he just got popped right in the back. That is the 6th time he's been hit this year.
Arkansas pitching coach Matt Hobbs quickly out of that dugout. Quick word with his left-hander. Trying to work something down and away. Looks like a little slider that just never got even close to where it was supposed to be.
Ben, how hard was it to shake off things like that when you know you should be probably sitting in the dugout right now, but an error defensively cost you that opportunity?
It can be tough, and when you're young, that's what you think about, right? It takes you some time to figure out that you got to go do your job, and once that ball leaves your hand, if it's not hit back to you, you can't control anything past that. And so it's easier said than done, but you got to figure out a way to flush it and move forward. You know, he's probably upset one. You had second and third, the top half of the last inning, you couldn't score a run, and now all of a sudden should be in the dugout, and you're having to throw some extra pitches. There's Dylan Carter starting to get heated up in that Arkansas bullpen.
So Jared Jones fouls that one straight back. Jared 2 for 9 with 5 strikeouts this series. His average at 343 now. Chases that one. 0-2. Jones with those 16 homers leads this team with 61 runs batted in. And I got one playing now, and think about all the practice because I'm working, you're working.
Yeah, the commitment, and it's the moms are the glues to the families, man. I mean, they really are. They take you, pick you up from school, take you to school, take you to practice. They're at all the events when Dad can't be there.
Got your family here. Got the whole family here.
Yeah, my son's here. His girlfriend Lexi is here, and of course my wife is here. She didn't want to come up to the booth and say hello.
Don't blame her. Base hit. That's going to be a double, I believe. Throw to second, not in time. So good start for Justin Thomas and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Nobody out, and a runner at second again.
Yeah, Justin Thomas had a big game one for Arkansas. He went 3 for 4 out of that 9-hole, and a good start to the top of the third right here. Watch him get up in front of this all-speed pitch right here, just right out in front of it, laces it down. Curiel out in left field doing all he can do to try to hold him to a single. A nice slide, and quickly comes up with the ball, but not in time. Justin Thomas can move.
Leadoff man has been aboard all 3 innings so far for Arkansas. Can they make it count? They have left 18 runners on base this weekend. Game one, listen, there were so many opportunities. Arkansas had that game one. They had so many opportunities.
Absolutely.
And couldn't finish it off.
It's one thing to get guys on base. It's another thing to get them across home plate. And that's where Arkansas has struggled. And they have not had problems doing that for most of the year. They have been so good. Situational hitting with runners in scoring position, but it's just kind of been a different weekend. And don't forget, they swept Texas last weekend, who hadn't lost an SEC series all year long. And they just beat up on them.
Yeah, averaged over 9 runs a game against Texas.
But that's this conference, man. It's like you're on top of the world one weekend, and the next weekend you're in trouble.
Evans fires to Jones. They do get the out of Davalon, but they get a runner to third base, though. This is what it looked like last week for Arkansas versus what it's looked like this weekend.
Isn't it crazy how just a weekend can make a difference? But we see this all the time in this conference, man. It is just back and forth, and you better bring your A game no matter who you're playing. I mean, look at Texas A&M this weekend against Missouri. Missouri hadn't won an SEC game all year long, and they've knocked off Texas A&M twice in College Station.
And they are destroying A&M today. It's 10-1.
Oh my gosh.
They're going to sweep Texas A&M in College Station.
I mean, you figure that out. Think about that. Missouri 0 for 24 in conference play in the first 8 weekends, and they're fixing the sweep a team that was really, really hot. Got off to a bad start.
0-2 on Vahiva Aloy. Aloy's first time up, struck out against Evans. Well, that one stays down 2-2.
Look at Aloy hitting .410 this year in these situations. And infield's playing back for LSU right here. So you'd love to get a base hit, but just a routine ground ball in the infield is going to play the run for you.
Foul tips that one. Hernandez can't hold on to it. The junior out of Hawaii. Boy, what a pickup for Dave Van Horn and the staff to get him on campus last year.
Got him last year and got his little brother this past offseason.
Cahillo played at BYU last year, hitting cleanup in this Arkansas lineup. Again, fouls that one back.
Well, I like that approach for Vahiva Aloy right there. You got to respect the all-speed stuff from Casey Evans. We've already seen it a couple times today. He will throw that changeup 2-2, 3-2, just about any count. So what he's trying to do is hit the fastball to the backside of the field, but have some bat left in case Evans takes a little bit off with either that slider or that changeup.
Out to right field. Jake Brown charges, makes the catch. Here comes the tag. Thomas from third. He'll slide ahead of the throw, and Arkansas is on the board. I thought Aloy might have hit that one too hard.
Yeah. Well done by Aloy. Got down 2 strikes, kept battling, and finally got a pitch that he could handle. He pushes that ball plenty deep enough to right field. Hit it right on the barrel, too. Jake Brown gets behind.